Hello and welcome to Basic Handstands by Matt and Alina for Slipstream Circus. Before we start, just a disclaimer that training at home isn't the same as training with a trainer at Slipstream. Make sure you have enough space where you're training, keep away from any tables or chairs, anything sharp, and if you need help, ask someone to help you. Make sure you warm up thoroughly before you begin doing anything. So do some burpees right now. Handstands are the basics of a lot of tricks in circus, and they're a really cool skill to have. So I'm going to give you guys some exercises that you can do at home. You can kind of mix and match, and hopefully they'll lead you to performing a full free handstand by yourself. Before we start, we'll do a quick joint warm-up. So here we're going to do 10 arm circles forwards, and then 10 arm circles backwards. Like I said, make sure you warm up your whole body before you start. This is just a really simple joint warm up. Next, we'll roll our wrists around a bit because your wrists get quite a bit of abuse in handstands. Stretch them out forwards like this, and it's probably a good idea between every exercise to give them a stretch as well, just so you don't start cramping up. Good, now for our little active warm-up. It's a little bit of strength to help get blood in the joints. Here's the first variation in a cat position, just pushing up through your wrists. If that's too easy for you, move your knees back a little bit. Make sure you're just going up onto the knuckle there, so you're up on your fingers. And if you're really strong and cool, you can do it in a full push-up position. I had to move to the carpet because I was sliding in my socks. The next one we'll do is face down, arms straight, lifting up from our shoulders. If that's too easy, look at your fingers when you're doing it. You'll find it a little bit harder. And if you want to make it harder, lift a weight or lift a pole. So I've just got a little bit of a metal pole here because I'm not that strong. All right, everyone's favorite, animal walks. First we can do a basic bear walk, just up and backwards. Do this as many times as you need to get warm. So this is great for warming up your shoulders, your wrists, and your flexibility in your hamstrings. The next one we'll do is, I think this one's called the worm, I can't remember, where you just basically walk out into front support. Try and keep your belly button tucked into your back. You can put your arms further out than a front support if you want, but for now, just basic into that push-up position, front support, and walk your feet back up to your hands. This is a great one for shoulder stability and ab stability. This one's called a straddled camel. So just leaning forwards, jump your feet up towards your hands, and this is just getting your bottom over your shoulders and your shoulders over your wrists. This is it from the side so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Cool, do a quick little stretch before we start. So stretch out your wrists. Like I said, they're going to get a lot of abuse. Bend your elbows a little bit. Stretch the back of your wrists. I've broken both of mine so they don't stretch very well that way. Stretch them that way and turn them in and stretch them that way as well. Stretch your shoulders out. Here I've got my ribs tucked in, so I'm not getting a massive stretch through my shoulders. Here you can see me open my ribs out and kind of spread them out. Can you see the difference? So that's closed ribs, which is good for handstands, and then opening my ribs more, which is better for shoulder flexibility, but not so great for handstands. Like I said, these are all exercises you can just mix and match with. Here's a little example program if you want to put it together for beginners or whatever level you're at. Right, first one, froggy jumps. Hands on the ground, knees on your elbows, just leaning forwards, taking the weight off your toes like that. Don't lean too far forward or you'll fall on your head. So make sure you leave your legs behind there. You can always do this as a hold as well. See how long you can hold it for. I like to try and count by breaths instead of by numbers. So I think I do about 5 breaths here. There we go, a little hold. You can put that in somewhere. This is a quick note on how to find your hand position for a handstand. So put one hand on the ground, other hand on top out to the side. Swing your hand around, slide it back, and that should be a pretty good handstand position for you. It's about shoulder width apart, which is ideal for your handstands. All right, here's our basic assisted handstands. You can put your feet on a chair or anything that's the right height for you. And what you want to do from this push-up position is just get your shoulders over your wrists and your butt over your shoulders. So we're stacking our joints on top of each other, and you can just move back and forward between those positions a number of times, 3 sets of 5, or you can do a hold there. This is a little more advanced. As you can see, my shoulders are over my wrists again, my bottom's over my shoulders, and I'm holding this position, but my knees are on a table, so the full weight isn't in my hands. Nice little basic one. Bunny hops, shoulders over your hands, butt over your shoulders, kick your bottom with your heels. You can do this in a row going forwards, or you can just do it in the spot if you don't have much space. If you feel like you're going to fall, just twist to the side and you should be able to come out of it. A Spider-Man walk. Start in a front support position, push-up position with your hands on the floor and your feet on the wall. Walk up into a handstand and back down. Now only go as high as you feel safe doing, and you can always get mum or dad to help you if you're worried about falling. Here's another nice little one. We can lunge up, kick up into a handstand next to the wall, and lunge back down. Make sure you're close enough to the wall so you're not going to fall into a bridge or anything. This one is just demonstrating how to do the handstand hold again. My fingers are about 5 centimeters from the wall here. You can see my back's a bit arched because we're leaning it forward into the wall. That's all right. This is more about building basic strength. Wear socks, because if you've got bare feet, the oil and sweat in your feet are going to mark your walls and people will get angry at you, I think. I've put these exercises at the end. They're a little bit more advanced, but for freaks and geeks or anyone who's been doing handstands for a while, it might be good to chuck these in as well. This is just from a crouch, straight legs, straddle up, hit your handstand position and straight back down. Do as many of those as you can, or 3 sets of 5. Whatever you feel will work for you. Well, that one was a struggle. And the last one I think I've got in this video is the pike up. This one's a little bit more advanced again, so make sure you can do the tuck up, the bunny hops and the straddle ups before you try this one, because there's a good chance you can overbalance. Okay, straight legs as quick as you can, shoulders over your hands, butt over your shoulders. Can you see a recurring theme here? You want to stack every joint on top of the joint underneath it, and that's what will get you a nice quick straight handstand. Boink. Conditioning, everyone's favorite. So to get good at handstands, you need good stomach muscles. Here's a basic dish. You guys should all know this one. Feet off the ground, shoulders off the ground, belly button pulled through to your spine, no gap between your back and the floor. Hold it for as long as you can. Front support, push the floor away, nice rounded shoulders, rounded shoulders, belly button to your spine. Side support, you can see here my hips have dropped quite a bit. It's probably because I don't do circus anymore and I'm a bit weak. You should be pushing your hips up a lot more than I am in these videos. Oh, look at that balance, it's horrible. Push those hips up nice and high. Try and hold each of these positions. Well, hold them for as long as you can, but for an example program, hold them for 30, and then you can go down into this, whatever it's called. It's not a front support. And do that. Leg lifts, these are quite good. You might cramp up, so start with your hands next to your bottom. You can move them forward next to your knees. That's a bit harder. And to make it even harder, put your hands next to your feet. See if you can, after you do that, you can move back down to your knees, back down to your bottom. Straddle ups, same thing. You can go in the middle, over to one leg, over to the other. This is just building up leg tension and working on your knee extension and your point, and it's good for pressing to handstand when you get a bit more advanced. This is the end goal, guys, just a freestanding handstand. Hopefully these exercises will give you a range of things to choose from, and you guys will get a bit closer to your goal if that's your goal. And most importantly, have fun!